moving.
Hey, we're going live. Hey, they let us go live, guys.
We're here. Yay.
I kept hitting that button. And all of a sudden, it went live.
Are we really live?
I would bet we're really live.
Yay.
It looks like we're really live. And let's hope that StreamYard, for the people at StreamYard, thank you for trying to get us on. And guy Evan probably pushed us through the line, which is nice. So,
I don't know.
in general, we've had good luck with StreamYard. This is our first problem.
It's the first time we didn't know what to do.
They've been rocked. Yeah, we had no clue how to complain.
Like the button always works.
So, but we're here. So let's do this. So hi everybody.
Hi, everybody.
We are unexpectedly here suddenly. So we are glad that you joined us. Look, Ashley says they can see us, which is great. I'm Bill Binko from LessonPix and ATMakers. This is Lori and Debbie Schwinn. So we are here today to talk about occupational therapy because it turns out because OTs love LessonPix.
Yeah,
Debbie Schwinn said so.
I love that.
So, and we have some of our favorite OTs here. I'll put them on top. There you go. So we have
that didn't work.
That didn't work. All right, there we go. So we've got Elisa Wern from Gainesville and Judith Schoonover from now from Michigan, but from Virginia when we met her. And Beth Poss is with us. Hi, Beth. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Who's not an OT? She's a speech path.
But I'm married to an OT. I have an OT upstairs if I need to get one.
If you need one, you can drag him downstairs.
Yeah.
I am so glad we actually got started. We were about ready to call it.
She keeps her OT in the closet just in case she needs them.
I've met Steve. I've met Steve, and I don't think he's in the closet.
Okay.
But yeah. He'll suddenly come down and yell.
All right.
So why are we talking about OTs this week? Because next week we are all of us are going to AOTA
San Antonio,
and we are all going to be there. And we're going to have both a lesson. I'm wearing green today because we're both having booths there this time.
We're having two booths, my booth and your booth.
And they're next to each other.
Yes.
And thank you, AOTA, for letting us do that, even though one of them's a nonprofit. That really helps because we can't staff two full booths.
I have to say, they have been delightful to work with. Like I've done the booth organizing, so I don't know much else about AOTA as an organization, but they are super helpful people when you email them over and over and over again with lots of questions.
Yeah. So we have, so it's kind of funny. ATMakers has had a booth at AOTA before. LessonPix has it, which is very strange.
Well, we wanted to see if it was good for LessonPix, and not only was it good, it was great.
Well, it was great, and so many of them have never heard of us, right? So many occupational therapists just don't know LessonPix. They don't know what we can do for them. And while it's great for ATMakers, but for those of you who don't know, ATMakers is our charity. My charity, you have a separate charity, and it teaches makers how to make assistive technology and stuff like that. And so it's very big into gaming and adaptive devices. And Judy and Alyssa have been huge help on the ATMaker side as well.
They have green shirts.
They both have green shirts, right?
Mine's downstairs. I can go and get it.
That's we believe you. And I have a picture of Alyssa's in her green shirt right there. See that?
Do you in fact have that green shirt and it's laid out, packed for next week?
I have a green shirt too, but I'm not nearly as helpful as Alyssa and Judy are with this. But tonight I'm wearing a different special shirt, so you know.
That's right.
I'll put the link for it in there. I'll stand up so people can see it. So assistive technology
didn't help much.
Jam.
Oh, stop.
I can't make rude comments because I'm live on Facebook. They have community standards and everything.
This is what happens when you start late.
That's right. We lost all our focus. We're sorry, folks.
But for anybody that doesn't know, Elisa Wern designs this shirt and a number of others, and they all go towards supporting the Joy Zabala Foundation, so which is dedicated to mentoring individuals who are new to the assistive technology world, professionals who are new to the assistive technology world, because Joy was such a mentoring was such an important thing to her. So we're in that stuff because AT is my jam.
Excellent. AT is your jam. That is certainly true. All right. So let's talk OT for a minute. We're going to talk about how LessonPix can help occupational therapists. That's the focus of tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to show at AOTA next week. And of course, we're just going to invite you all to come see us there if you're in San Antonio. It is all live, right? Are they doing a virtual part or not?
They have a virtual component as well.
Okay. So there you go. Let's get Judy, Alyssa, who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Alyssa. You're on top. So
Sure, I'd be happy to go first.
What a lovely home you have there.
Why, thank you. So I don't know if you want me to talk, if you want me to show, if you want me to talk and show. What would you like to see or hear?
Well, why don't we start with what are the areas that you think are most helpful as an OT? Is it executive function? Is it motor planning? Tell us your favorite things to use.
I was going to let you keep listing them, and then my easy answer would be yes.
Yeah.
So I think I agree that it is very underutilized in terms of occupational therapists, and it's unfortunate because a lot of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis when we're working with students, everybody from birth to 3 early intervention, up through students who are leaving us at 22, we know a lot of our learners really thrive on having a visual component to their learning, right? Whether that's learning handwriting components, or it's learning, how to dress in the appropriate steps in the morning before you come to school. Every piece of having that visual component is super helpful. And again, that is where LessonPix can be very powerful. And I think because our students thrive sometimes on having a drawn image, and sometimes they need to have the actual image of the thing just like it looks like in their environment, we can do both in one program. And I am a fan of anything that involves one training to staff and then lets them implement and lets them share between themselves, lets them share, beyond just the work they're doing. And so I've seen a lot of really positive things. And sometimes it's about taking something that's happening in the classroom that a student's struggling with, and making it more visual, or making it visual in a different way. And again, including that also in the interventions that we're doing. I will say it over and again, probably until I am a retired practitioner. OTs aren't handwriting teachers, but there are so many components that go into the act of handwriting that involve breaking down steps. So when you talk about executive functioning, that talk about, how do we just practice something in a way that is not repetitively boring, because it's the first way to turn a kid off from learning something that's hard for them. The things that are hard or I don't like to do are the things I'm going to put off unless you add some kind of gaming element to it. So I think being able to do that in a way that is engaging for students, I think is highly, highly important. So I can show if you want me to show.
Yeah. Let me add your stream.
So this is when we talk about handwriting, when I'm working with my young students, something that I used, again, a gaming template element and visuals that were already available in LessonPix to be able to kind of make this cube that obviously you cut out, you print. I'm one of those people that I would print this out, and then I would have my 4th or 5th grader who was working on handwriting be the one that cuts it out and assembles. Maybe they're working on the steps of doing something or cutting things out. I am all about taking those goals and make them practical. And then sometimes that student gets to come back and play the game with the pre-K kid,
right,
and see where their work went to. But they cut it out. We roll, let's say we roll 2 things, we roll twice, and then they kind of figure out, can I make a letter from that? Or do I need to roll again to get another piece? And so I think that is, again, it's a way of doing some gamification of a concept, their visual processing, their visual memory that might be a struggle for them.
Yeah, and that dice template is one of our standard templates. It takes 6 pictures and gives you instructions on how to do it. Right.
Yep. So, and I did, because I knew Beth was going to ask, I did make that one available in the sharing center.
She learned.
Ready for her question.
Yay.
So that one is up in the sharing center. And again, I just selected the images and dropped them into the template and made it. And it's something that I've shared out before. I also have this one available that we kind of had to kind of work through. How do we do this? This is a visual that, again, our staff had up in the classroom, but it was too far away for our students. So being able to take those addition words and pull them a little bit closer to them. And if I were doing this one again, I would make addition words like a smaller font so that it didn't hit the boxes on the sides. But the perfectionist in me let it go for this once. But again, making visual a concept where a lot of times you don't think about the fact that an OT could maybe push into math. I actually like pushing into math because it's a lot of skills that an OT, maybe would be addressing with a student that that isn't, is a time that a student would struggle. And it may not be a struggle based on concepts, but based on, I can't form the numbers, or I can't remember what all these words mean. And the cognitive load is really heavy. So giving them an executive functioning support like that is very helpful.
Gotcha. And that template, Lori just snuck it in. That's actually from the themed math section. Yes.
Yep. So when I reached out to Lori with a picture, I took a picture of what was in the teacher's classroom and I said, how would I do this? Because I know there's a way, and it's from the themed math collection.
And that font you used is my favorite font. I love it for a number of reasons. It is a dyslexia font.
It's the Lexan font.
Yeah, Lexan font. And I love it, but it does have issues with shrinking in certain situations.
Yeah. It is a very non-standard font.
It's a funky font, and I know that, it was a request to add it, so I appreciate the addition of it. We've kind of worked around, no pun intended, the addition of it, but I like it because of the way it makes its A's. And when you're working with folks who are using some of our more popular handwriting curriculums, they make the A's this way, and I think our students really need to see the visual that looks the same.
Sure.
Exactly, and it's a good thick line. I really like the look of it. Good space.
So the other way you could make this, obviously, is you could use the PowerPoint plugin, right?
Yeah.
And so we will. I'm sure a lot of the OTs haven't been paying attention to us over the past year or two, and don't know we have this entire new piece of LessonPix on the inside of PowerPoint that they probably don't know about yet. Fair guess.
Fair, yeah, probably a fair guess, because I think when we shifted into virtual learning, there was definitely some okay, how do we take these things that we're used to be doing across the table and translate them? And I do know a fair amount of speech therapists that picked up the plugin and went running, and maybe less for OTs. But this is an example where I have a PDF of it, but just pulling it down and making it interactive to where I may have a student that, does better on the computer. We learned that during virtual learning. We found lots of students that attend better on a computer. So I might put them on a computer while my other students are sitting live in front of me as well. All three of them, but one of them's on a computer. Two of them are doing doing this more paper pencil. So the ability to have these tokens and just have them drug over where, they come and find the friend that's hiding all the way down here. And then they can mark it off. They can use this little token to mark it off. And again, we're not really working on, can they, match a friend picture to a friend. We're looking at how do they visually scan? Can they visually discriminate among the things? And again, I would use this as a warm-up activity. I would say to students, hey, let's warm up our eyes. And again, it's a game format, so they're going to buy in a little bit more than if I were to say, let's do some eye exercises.
Yep. Very cool. And so you did that. You did this one using the from the sharing center or any material. You can just say download it as a PowerPoint with tokens, and you're ready to go. Right.
I love the magnifying glass with this one.
The magnifying glass would be huge. Right.
Yep. And I love that for there's a lot of times when OT and speech language pathology are really great natural co-treatments, and being able to kind of work on language concepts at the same way as you're working on visual discrimination concepts. I think it's very powerful. It's asking our students to do an activity and yet meeting two different goals at the same time, which I think is super wonderful.
Yeah. And so Lauren says that it is a game changer.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. That's right. So Jamie asks, where is this located, the sharing center? So the sharing center is where Alyssa has put all of her materials. The PowerPoint plugin, if you look at any, would you mind going to one of your materials and just?
Yep.
Hold on.
Yeah. I can do that. Yep.
Yeah. If you look on any material, when you go look at it, whether you get it from the sharing center or your own materials, underneath download PDF right there are other ways to download it. And so there's a checkbox at the top that I recommend you check. I might change the default, which includes symbols and tray cards.
That would be helpful because I forget it every single time.
Yeah.
As evidenced by
I think changing the default might need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you then download it as PowerPoint, either fixed or movable, and with tokens if you want them, it will make you a PowerPoint. And you can go ahead and do it if you want. You can do any of them. It will make a PowerPoint file that includes not only the PDF file, but also a whole bunch of tokens that you can. That's not it.
I know it's opening.
There you go.
There we go.
Give my poor computer a sec. There we
It's
go.
okay. And so it includes a bunch of tokens you can move around. And then on the last few pages, like if you go to page 2, because you checked that box, it's also got all of the token, all the actual symbols
That were in the.
They were in both the material or in your tray. So it's got the union of those two sets. It's got all the pictures in the material.
The ASL hanging out in there and the symbols.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that means that if you want to drag those around, you can do that, and it's nice and
Copy and
easy.
paste them within.
Yeah. And
Very easy.
and they stay together like that, which is kind of cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah,
I love it. And you can open these PowerPoint files in Google.
Oh
Slides.
yeah, it works just as well in Google Slides. Absolutely.
Just
Right. The only thing that doesn't work in Google Slides is the add-in on the right-hand side, which will show.
Yeah, I was going to say the add-in is amazing too.
Yeah. So the add-in, once it's installed, looks on the right-hand side. Alyssa will log into her account, and here, I don't want her to see her account. There you go.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at that. Okay. So then it looks like this, and then so she can click on anything and add it into PowerPoint. And if she wants to, she can also make spinners and dice and all kinds of fun stuff over there on the right-hand side.
And this is how I would take that handwriting game and make it very interactive, is if imagine we had the handwriting game up there and I had those pictures in my spinner, I could have it spin them instead of a student rolling the dice.
Yep.
So again, being able to build in a draw cards or those kinds of things in a way that again, it's about student engagement, and whether if the student thrives with this kind of engagement and I get more engagement, more on task activity, more buying into the task I'm asking them to do, and eventually they're learning because of it. That's the name of the game, right? We want our students to make progress on their goals, and if gamification is the way to get it, then it is equally as applicable for what we're doing in the OT world as it is for our SLP or educator friends.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Well, thanks for going first too. So, and we got feedback coming in from Jamie and Lauren and stuff. So, if you guys don't know this, if you comment in either Facebook or YouTube, we will see it and we can put you up on the screen, which is always fun. Judy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You want to chat?
I do want to chat, and I want to do a shout out to Deborah Schwind, who I think is still on, isn't she?
I don't know if she was at the beginning. She's right here. Right
I know there she is. And she said, OTs love LessonPix. We had quite a long chat because, as you know, I'm not in schools anymore, but I met Bill and Lori at ATIA years and years ago with my supervisor. And we were so enchanted with LessonPix that were we one of your first of the big subscriptions?
So yeah, you were Loudoun County was one of our first. It was early. It was early. I would say you were one of our first big ones, right? It was you guys in Montgomery where we got Beth from. Both of you were around the same time. yes, you were early in the process. Yeah.
We went as an AT team, and to me, LessonPix is a perfect storm. It exemplifies UDL. It's multiple means of engagement. It's multiple means of representation, multiple means of action and expression. And the engagement piece for me is huge. I've been an OT since 1975. And I've been in classrooms since 1975. I taught elementary school, and engagement is key. And there's never enough time to make materials. And Debbie Schwind and I were talking today about why she loves LessonPix. And there's so many reasons. She should be on this show right now because she does so much with transition. And I do want to make the point that it's not just for little ones. You know, you see the icons and you might think, oh, you know, those are really cute, but you want to have age respectful. You do have age respectful icons, as well as the ability to add photographs.
Right.
But what Debbie was saying, because she was describing this book that she was writing with a student to help him with some self-regulation issues. And Debbie, you should be on here and be telling it better than I have. And I said, you know, well, why didn't you just go and get some clip art? And she said, because everything's in one place. And it just brought me back to when I was first practicing in school-based as opposed to a medical model. And there was always this question that you would ask at conferences: what do OTs have in their toolbox? You know, and everybody's saying, oh, you got to have some wiki sticks, and you got to have some Theraputty, and you need a slant board, and blah, 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 blah. You need LessonPix. Because if you have that, everything else falls into place. You can apply what you want to do, but you have so many things in one place. The thing Debbie and I were talking too about the diversity of the icons. The fact that there are different skin tones, there's different clothing choices. There are different languages. And we know that our classrooms are so much more diverse than they used to be. And kids want to see someone that looks like them. Parents want to be able to recognize the language when kids are coming home with products and things like that have words to them. And so to have something that's so relatable on so many different levels. I visited my grandchildren last week in Connecticut, and I took a bunch of pictures of them, and I could upload those pictures and use those. I could also add symbols by using the PowerPoint plugin, so I could make things interesting that were both symbol and real objects. And Lori was asking about, we had a conversation yesterday, wasn't it? Well, I was waiting for my oil to be changed, and there was a question about, does this apply to an older population, because we know that OTs are across the lifespan. And absolutely it does. Think about the kinds of geriatric work you might do, or the kinds of work you might do in a hospital where someone has to indicate a discomfort in some way and a body part in some way. I think the thing that is so exciting, and I'm jumping around, is if you got this, or if you got an iPad, you can just do it on the fly. It's right there for you, regardless of the modality that you're using. So you can have something instantly available as you're trying to connect with your client and trying to create something that's exciting and meaningful.
And I think, Judy, a great example of your lifespan is your card holder, right? Because that could be for playing Uno as you're learning math in elementary, but it could be an adaptation, you know, that you make some large print playing cards for somebody who is struggling with vision, who is in more the aging population.
And I'm glad you brought up struggling with vision, because the high contrast element of LessonPix is another just stunning thing that we're able to do. Not only changing the backgrounds, but changing the outlines and making things pop. I do a lot with adapted books, and I connect with other people around the country that are adapting books. And this is a huge element. If we're really adapting books, we have to adapt them for everybody. So there has to be a physical component. There has to be an auditory component. And to be able to add these symbols and this high contrast that makes things easier to see and manipulate is so important, so that everybody is included and everybody knows what's going on. And even though LessonPix is not necessarily a manipulative, you can make the cubes and some of the other things. There's so many things that you can add Two, I made a sequencing card. What did Brown Bear see? And I've got it in the wrong order because I have to look at the book again. I know that Brown Bear first saw the red bird, but after that, I'm a little bit lost.
I bet Lori knows it.
I bet I do.
But this was so easy because I went to some of the Brown Bear things that were already shared. I found all the pictures. I loaded them into my tray, and then I changed what I was doing to make it into the little squares. And this is also a cut and paste activity too, where you can sequence and have the numbers above and everything else. But the idea that you can take whatever has been created and make it dimensional by adding a few things. I know that Bill had asked me to bring the eye gaze frame, and you're going to go show your one-dimensional eye gaze frame.
All right.
This one?
Hold on.
Yeah. And I mean one-dimensional because it's a flat paper.
Yeah.
But and to flip it over, so you turn it around, so you can see that the same thing is on the other side.
I know. So
we see Disney on the.
So this is Disney, and it's still here. Disney on the back because we do all the math for you, and we figure out
it's
where it is, right?
And then
I added it to the Linda Burkhart design, the eye gaze frame that Linda Burkhart designed years ago. The nice thing about this one is it's tiltable. So if your student is in a different position, you can tilt whatever they're looking at up and down. And then I've added wiki sticks to target. So if I really wanted to make sure that the student was targeting this one thing, I can surround it with something else that's makes it pop or is more of a high contrast. So the sky's the limit with having this foundation of symbols and foundation of templates. The templates are amazing. There's so many different things that you can do. And I think I'm going to shut up now because I'm just kind of rambling.
No, you're good.
The one thing, if I said nothing else, was the Share Center. Because OTs think very creatively, as do speech and language pathologists, as do educators. Mrs. L. Sheehan, I'm your biggest fan. But anyway, having those things already there and you go, oh, well, I could do that better. And then you unload that, or you add to the template, or you make it a little bit different. I think that's one of the really wonderful things. And that's one of my favorite pieces of former competitors of yours is the Share Center. And now we have our own, and it's even better.
Former competitor.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the wording. That's good.
Yeah, you guys are just
she's not wrong though.
She's
So
while we're here, let's go ahead and show people there might be people who don't know about the Sharing Center. Okay.
Yes,
so the Sharing Center, whether you're logged in or not, when you go to LessonPix, the blue tab at the top with the two dudes over there handing one thing to the other, very clear. They're sharing. Go to the Sharing Center, and you've got thousands and thousands of materials that people have created. And you can just search, and you say, I need Brown Bear stuff. And there's a million things to do on Brown Bear, right? You can cut pieces apart. You can play a bingo game. You can somebody made black and white playing cards, right? So these are all, if you wanted to do something about eye gaze, right? I have no idea what we have in here. Here you go.
No, you have a ton because I looked.
Yeah. So you can go in here, and we have a really cool template that very few people use. Like we have some templates where we know lots and lots of people are going to use them, but we also have templates that nobody is going to use, but the people who need them really, really need them, right? And we have one of those in the eye gaze. I'll show you. I don't know, Judy, I'm not sure if we have this one, but if you have pictures, and let me just get a bunch of pictures. Let me log in. I'm going to start with that. Otherwise I'll have stuff all over my thing.
I'm curious to see where you're going with this.
So nobody knows we have the 36 picture eye gaze devices.
Oh, I bet I know.
Sure, okay, we have a bunch of pictures in our tray. We found them, but this is for somebody who's got a large vocabulary and suddenly needs a low-tech eye gaze display. He doesn't want 6 pictures, right?
So you really basically created the alternative pencil that a lot of OTs relate to, Gretchen Hanser's work.
So if you look right here, these are our different layouts, and we have 8 that's this one, the U-shaped
That's the
one.
U-shaped
That's
one.
that
Judy
one,
showed the
right?
frame
Judy
kind.
showed the one that's got the hole in the middle, which is also great. But then there's a third one here, which has got 38 positions, and you can go into the grid layout and you can move these around and lay them out however you want. But when you're done, it actually makes a two-step E-Tran board, a two-step eye gaze board that you look and you choose the color, and then you look and you choose the actual cell that you want. I didn't have 38 pictures in my tray, but if you look, these are really hard to make by hand, because not only do you have to make it so that between page 1 and page 2, the colors switch. Internal to each of the squares, they have to flip as well, right? So we have to make it so that not only does this big pink thing go over here on page 2, right? Like on page 1, right? Internal to this yellow one and this pink one have to switch as well, right?
Yeah, I have messed before this template existed. I have messed up more than I got successful.
That's right. And this is something where computers can just do it. Let's just let the computers do it. There's no reason for us to spend an absolute colossal amount of time making these boards. So we made it. And how many people use it? I don't know, a dozen in the country use it. But those 12 people really, really need that board, right?
I do like how you had the letter size on the paper size on there, so that you can do it on the
11 by
ledger.
17. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can do it on
And again, that's something that
paper.
we can spend time once doing that, and then none of you have to do it down the road, right? So I think that's,
from a writing perspective, I think it would be very powerful for access to the alphabet, one, but then access to those high frequency words for someone, as you know, Judy was saying, that alternate pencil can be very powerful. Maybe they're an emerging eye gaze, you know, AAC powered, user, but having that paper AAC as an option is something that they can use to do really foundational emergent writing. And I think that's critical. It's something that I don't think we provide enough, and yet writing and access to a participatory activity like writing is like right up OT's alley.
Yeah, I had a user, I had a student that I worked with for many years when I was with my school district. And she was a single switch scanner, and she was very proficient with it. But it was fatiguing, right? It was very motorically fatiguing for her. And so we always had an eye gaze board with the spelling, a 36 location style. Because that, when she was just too tired, we would see her accuracy decrease with her thing, or she would let us know that she was just getting tired. And it was just much less fatiguing for her to be able to switch off to that eye gaze. So it wasn't instead of a high tech robust system, but it was as an alternative or as an addendum. Can't think of a better word.
Yeah. I wanted to have one last word, and that's customizable. Because again, when we were talking about engagement and everything else, the customization that you can do, changing the color of the shirt, if a kid's favorite color is blue, or if they're working on cutting and they don't want to cut out those darn circles and squares and triangles that are the classic worksheet, if they can cut out something that they're interested in, like a truck or any of the shapes that you can find in LessonPix that are cuttable, you can put the little dashy lines around and go to it. And you can also change the colors that are on the icons to make them more relatable to the children. Plus, you can add 2 or more things to the same icon. You can combine and make customized. And that's enough about that.
Hey, sell. I'm all good with it.
And Bill, if you want me to share my screen, or if you want to share your screen again, I think I really would like to show them the article that you guys wrote about OT. And because I think if you have not seen LessonPix before, you see a couple examples and you're like, oh my gosh, those are amazing, but like I'm a little overwhelmed. So from articles, if you go to the For Therapy section on the left, you'll see that there are a slew of different articles, and some of them are SLP, colleagues related, but there's also articles that relate specifically to OT. And I think it gives a lot of good in a kind of categorical way Exactly that one right there. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that there's some linked categories that give you a really great head start to think, okay, these are all areas that are absolutely part of OT skipper practice when working across the lifespan, but particularly with school-aged or early intervention students, and give you some ideas about things. And then if you see something you like, take it.
Right.
Put the stuff in your tray or use it right as is to get you started.
Yeah. So
each of those categories up top links to their own article. So if you are looking at executive functioning or, fine motor, you click there, you will get even more activities under that section.
So you go to handwriting, or you can go to whatever it was, visual, perceptual, self-help.
Gotcha. And then the headers link out.
These go out to their own executive function.
Their own article,
right.
So I think for somebody just getting started, it gives you so much. It helps you to translate, hey, these are the things that I'm used to doing that say OT to me as a practitioner. Gives you a way a jumping off point to see how you could use the templates and the visuals that are available in LessonPix.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Alyssa, why don't you show them the tutorials too? Because some people go, ooh, I don't know how to get started. And the tutorials are wonderful. You can do anything by watching those tutorials.
Yeah. So there's a whole section in here of tutorials. We have articles about all of this stuff. We've embedded them in a lot of the articles we were just talking about.
You can also search. So if you say, I think I saw that they put in a picture where they combine two symbols, you can search in the search box and get a quick answer right there.
How to combine symbols in the symbol builder.
And then most of these have videos embedded in it, which are straight on YouTube. So you can also search in YouTube.
I know this guy.
Yeah, I know that guy. Different shirt, same face.
He's got the wrong color shirt on. It's the evil one. That's the commercial one, not the charitable one. That's
the bad your personality changed with the shirt you were wearing.
It unfortunately doesn't change much. So yes, these things are in here. If you look under tutorials, the other thing is on the very front homepage at the bottom, right here where it says visit our channel, it's got an absolute ton of videos that we've made about how to do this stuff. Not just the LessonPix live stuff, but things about how to use the new templates, how to use the dynamic spinners. Like there's a ton of stuff in here that if you're a YouTube person and that's how you learn, watch the videos. You can watch Lori make a fool of herself. See, there you go.
She looks familiar. That was back when we were learning about virtual backgrounds because we all went online real quick.
That's right. We can just
thank you.
I'm still going to let it play so you can look goofy. I'm just going to turn the audio off.
This is a goofy one too.
I know. So, but there are videos of all stripes in there that you guys can start with. Let me see.
Nice to hear from the audience on who is using LessonPix and how they're using it.
Yeah, I will be. So if anybody would like to type that, I also see a note.
Yeah.
How to make art tools. There is an art. So there's not a video on it, but there's an article on the art tools.
The only video is when we met with these two wonderful OTs.
Right before AOTA.
There's one with Deborah. There's one with a video on LessonPix Live with Deborah and Judy on the art tools, I believe.
Yep. That's true. Yes, on art tools.
And we have an art kit article here.
Do we?
We do. We have an art kit section.
We have it in images.
Under images, right? So we have all the things for making the art kit. No, where's the OT?
ATMaker.
Yeah. So this has got all the stuff that's in the art kit, so that you can actually draw up instructions and recipes, whatever you want to call them, for what you're going to make.
Huge. I mean, again, when you're talking about working with secondary students, middle and high school students, it's a lot about how you frame the activity you want them to participate in and being able to frame it in a way that is, you know what, I need your help, right? I need your help to build these things so that our kindergarten friends can use them. Now, whether they realize or not that we're working on their executive functioning and they're writing out the directions, so we're practicing their visual motor handwriting skills or not, I care less about whether they figure it out. But again, it's a means to an end. It's not we're bringing them an activity we want them to do. It's I need your help to build this thing, and it might be I want a student to. I mean, I have some kids that would love to put together PVC frames. Right? It's hands-on. You follow the directions. it's step by step, and then maybe they are the ones that cut out or write instructions, or they write a letter to the user and they start a pen pal activity. Like, I think there's tons of ways to put to practice our role as OTs that isn't, childish or just for elementary school. I think that secondary group is super, super helpful. And I see Jamie's comment, using some of the visuals that help guide our students who need that extra support to know what is the expectation and how long do I have to do this for? Because I think it's, I like the first thens. Autism Level Up also has another template that's, probably going to be a request coming in. That's, that gives them some information. It's first and then until then. Okay. So first you do something until you're done with it, until time is up, until whatever. Then you can do something different. Because again, the first then is not meant to be here. We're going to tell them how to do something. We want to tell you and control your scenario. We want to give them visuals enough to know what are we expecting of them and how do they successfully complete this task that's in front of them.
Right.
And Jamie, I'm glad that you brought those same templates up, because I did a parent workshop for the PTA at several of my schools, and we had the parents make these for home so that they had the same tools. And it's a real nice opportunity when people make, they really, it releases something in them. People tend to talk a little bit more. They tend to share information, and it's a wonderful vehicle for having a group of people come together and create something. As Alyssa was saying, even having older students make things for younger students, but especially important to have those same materials that parents have can have at home.
Right. So I do want to point out, before you request a new template, Alyssa, we kind of can do this. So so what I've done here is I'll start over. I'll go in. I wanted to make sure I could do it before I brought this up. If I go into first then boards, which are what we were talking about, and these are not going to be appropriate pictures.
Yep.
But you can change the title and you can add a third title. So you could certainly say until then. And
I had a feeling there was going to be a way as soon as I said it.
There you go, right? And the primary reason that we added that was so that you could type primero, segundo, or whatever you wanted.
First, next, last is a very
first, next, last was a request, but
things.
First, until, and then are another great use of this template. And again, it was super easy to do. And we always have the option here, just since they're OTs, to make these without the pictures. And then on a separate page, you cut out the pictures, and they're manipulating them onto what they're doing, right? So if you change this to say put them on separate cards, then when you actually make this, the first page will actually have the
you have so many pictures, you're going to have several pages.
So the first page is blank. It's the last page is blank, and then all the other ones are the right size for you to cut out and put into that frame.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just already there. You don't have to spend any time trying to make this work. I don't know why we're going to have Mad Cowboy in our first then board, but we are, because that's what I had in my tray.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, Matt. Then we'll do Matt. That will go south very quickly, and I'm not going to go there. So
I do think this was a great example of LessonPix grew out of picture cards and bingo games and schedules, and we were just this way for parents and individual teachers to get the visuals they need to succeed. And it has grown to where we still keep that mantra of keeping it simple for families. So right off the bat, anybody can go in there and they can make those templates. But when you get deeper, like you were just talking about, you could see that each template
there's so many options.
So powerful. Yeah. And that's where the professional steps in and says, all right, let me take this a step further. Let me cut this out and put it on a stick, or have this on PVC and manipulate it. There's always another way, and you're welcome to ask with the little help button or on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone.
Lori adds new templates all the time. I mean, all the time.
Yes.
You have a list for me now.
And we get requests constantly. And I would say, a lot of the requests we already have.
Mm-hmm. And you don't realize, that's under the menus and lists thing.
Right.
They don't know where it is. But
and it's hard to keep a product that simple, that doesn't require significant training,
Yeah.
while still being able to go deep enough to handle such diverse populations.
You sound like
Did
you're
I say
proud of
that?
it.
I am very proud of
Well,
it.
good. You should be. So, all right. Beth, you've been uncharacteristically quiet today.
She
I know
hasn't
you're not
had a
on
chance
TV.
to get a word in edgewise.
Okay, it's all right. I actually had just a couple of things that, if we had time, I was going to share, just sort of based off of some of the things that Elisa and Judy were saying. So I don't know if it's too late for me to share my screen.
Share your screen. I'll put it up there.
Okay, hang on. Share screen. Okay, which one is it? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. All right. So this is just like a daily schedule, and Judy and Elisa were both talking about like the importance of a daily schedule, right? So this is just like some random, maybe generic kind of day that somebody's having. But one of the things that we know about like schedules is that sometimes you have like your day planned out and then things happen that you weren't expecting, or kids decide to add some more information. And so one of the things that I've been doing a lot with a couple of kids that I see is I have been using the add-in. So, oops, let me make sure I get signed in. Okay, so we know that when things are in your tray, you can click on them. But what you might not know is that you can also search for anything in here too. So let's say you had a kid that they were all of a sudden they're telling you, you know what, Mrs. Poss, I kept my hands to myself on the bus today because I had my fidget spinner, and you told me that would be a really good strategy for me. And so if I want to like acknowledge that for that kiddo and say, yeah, so we can search for the fidget and we can say, well, which one, was the one that you used, and they could come up, whether it's on the computer or the interactive whiteboard or whatever it is, and they can click on that and then we can add that in. Or maybe something, we found out that morning that there's going to be a fire drill, right? And I want to make sure that my kids are prepared for that, but I didn't have that set up for whatever it was. And I know I'm going to have sometime during circle time, there's going to be a fire drill. And so I can go ahead and add that in using that search. So I love the flexibility of being able to, take something that you're doing and add additional resources, like add additional images to it. Even though, this is static, there's nothing I can do with this. I mean, I can check off things or I can write on it or whatever. But with that add-in, and I've been doing that a lot, where my learner is going to give me some information and we're going to add it to the scene that we're working on or whatever it is that we're doing. So I just think it's just a different way that you can think about the resources that you're creating and having some flexibility with them.
Very cool. I did want to show, we have a celebrity watching us because, we've.
Ooh.
I know. I thought we'd be done by 8. We had a little bit of problems. I was like, well, we'll be able to do AT chat right after.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate the multitask, because I've done that before when I was watching like Lauren's, and it's really hard to multitask Twitter and
yeah.
and
Well, I'm
and
glad none of us are multitasking it right now. I think that's really nice of everybody. But it probably does mean we should wrap things soon.
But before you wrap, you should
Yeah.
tell people if they're in San Antonio or around San Antonio,
Right.
they should come and see us next week, like
Right.
live in person.
Yeah, so we will be at AOTA.
I won't be this fuzzy.
Yeah, why are you fuzzy again? That's twice
I
tonight
don't
you went
know.
fuzzy. All right, we'll do this. There you go. So we will be at AOTA at the convention center downtown. We will be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the exhibit hall is open. We'll actually be there Wednesday. I think they might be opening with a launch night, right?
I don't think so. I think
I don't think
it's
so. I
setup
think
day.
it's just setup
Okay.
day. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be there Wednesday, so you could probably find us because we'll all be there. And
Wearing
yeah,
a blue and green shirt.
that's right. This will look just like this, and they'll all be in.
I might have a black or a pink shirt on that has this.
So we're bringing shirts for some of you. So
I'm trying to do this without it.
There you go.
Beth's stripping. So what else is there,
Okay,
right?
yes.
So come see us at AOTA. We'll be in the exhibit hall at the 8. So we will have LessonPix is going to be LessonPix. You're going to see all of our awesome
All
stuff.
live. You're just
right?
going to see the real stuff you can touch and play with.
And then right next door, the ATMakers booth will have a lot of kind of awesome stuff. We will have Judy with the art kit. She'll be showing that. I will be.
And I just want to put in that the art kit was Debbie Schwind and Judith Schoonover that created that.
Yeah,
and Debbie will be at a.
She will. I know, because I invited her to be on the show behind your back, and she said she was in the middle of dinner and she couldn't do it. So, but she did say she'd be at AOTA, and you can come and find Debbie Schwind at AOTA as well. And then the ATMakers booth will actually be showing lots of stuff about alternative access, like how Elisa and I really, and the folks in Gainesville, the kids in Gainesville, have pretty much saved this at this point. I have exciting stuff there I haven't told Elisa yet. Like the new version of this will hold all 8 of the templates, which is nice, right? Yay. So we'll be doing some adaptive gaming stuff. We'll be doing some really interesting new stuff that we have on the ATMaker side as well.
All
so
things that might seem like scary technology, but they're not, and they are it's so ingrained into who we are as OTs to fabricate things and take things that weren't working and make them work for our students, our clients, or professionals. So,
and really, the ATMaker side is about how there's an entire world of maker technology and skills and community that the OTs, a lot of OTs don't have the skills in and don't know how useful it is to bring to bear on this problem.
Or they have the skills, but they don't bring them to the forefront. They don't blow their own horns.
I mean, look, if this doesn't look like
exactly right.
While I made this looks like an OT should have made this, right? This is a gaming controller for an Xbox adaptive controller made out of cardboard and a $20 thing, and there's no soldering and there's no nothing to it. You just plug it in and go. That's what OT should want to be doing now, right? So that will be right next door to it. Okay. So I think, let's see. So Karen says it sounds like fun. Is anybody doing a LessonPix session at AOTA? Not officially, but these two ladies right here, these two are doing a presentation at 8:30 Thursday morning. And what is the title of that, ladies?
The exact title? That's a great question.
Executive function.
It is all about executive functioning supports and how we can, as OTs, really help folks who are struggling to kind of organizing things. It's called Executive Functioning Supports for School-Age Students in a Post-COVID World, whatever that is.
That's right. And you have a speech path and an OT who are co-presenting. And you never know. There might be a LessonPix material in there or two.
Or 3 or 4.
You never know. You never know. We hired her for a reason. So, but
it's also a powerful tool that would be really good to
be helpful to
use this. Just saying.
It's a good question, Karen. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question. There will also be a couple of LessonPix examples as I'm presenting a workshop on Saturday morning that is all about the OT's role in AAC. So I have 3 hours to talk about and share about what our role is in supporting AAC.
Excellent. So I actually I would love to hear your topic.
I know
on that.
we
might sneak into that. So I'll tell you, it made all the difference. I mean, Judy and I were just in Elkhart, Indiana, for ATMakers work. That was a kind of a great collaboration. It wasn't explicitly AAC, right? But it ended up being AAC because the device we were giving this child to get access to her computer also meant she had access to her Toby speech device.
Yeah.
And it was huge. And having Judy there with positioning and figuring out what worked and what didn't, it was one of my favorite days, Judy.
It was my favorite day too.
Right? It's great.
And we got that Amish dessert stuff too.
Yeah, the Amish crack. It's called what's the name of that place?
I don't know.
The donut place. Oh, I forget the name of the donut place.
Bill is
Rise and Roll. It's called Rise and Roll, and it's in Elkhart, Indiana, and South Bend. And oh my God, it's these insane donuts.
I haven't eaten dinner yet. You're making me very.
I know we haven't either. It's all Judy's fault. So
We just
all
have
right.
to seek out a similarly fun dessert opportunity in San Antonio. I think we can find something.
Well, we know Rudy's. We know good barbecue in San Antonio. So it's a gas station that I take everybody to. So we'll probably do
Why
that.
am I not surprised?
Lori,
Only the best.
Yeah.
Only the best.
very
Food.
wait a
place.
second.
Swing
Time
by a
out.
gas
Time out.
station. He brought it home on the airplane.
It doesn't travel.
And
It doesn't travel. All the fat separates from all the yummy brisket, and it's
so he
gross.
opened it up out of his
And it-
bag, and
and it was like, no,
meat jello.
it was
I
gross.
was
But
like,
I tell you, so it looks like Jamie knows Rise and Roll. Look at this. I'm not the only one here.
Yeah.
So
She's an Indiana girl, so she would know.
that's right. But Rudy's. So when we went out there, was I wrong?
Rudy's is fabulous.
It's the best brisket you'll ever have, and it's in a gas station.
And a very expensive eating place then.
Yes,
So-
yes.
so-
Fine dining.
Oh, we'll only take you to the best places. So
Very much looking forward.
if anybody wants to join us at Rudy's in San Antonio, we'll probably be there one night, probably Wednesday night. So, all right, enough. It sounds like I'm getting the hook. So I will see you all later. And so you guys are hold on here for a second. But for all of our guests, thank you for joining us. There are actually quite a few today. It was nice.
Yeah.
So
And they were awesome. I love
we need to be late. We need to start late. That worked. So, but anything else we gotta go through?
No, this was very good.
I think so. And so thank you guys for joining us. Sorry about the technical trouble in the beginning. I will give my my grumpiness to the folks from StreamYard, although they are generally pretty good. And Karen, thank you. I'm glad you thought this was great. I thought this was great too. And these are my favorite people, and we'll be with them all live in San Antonio next week.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
We're good. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.